Hey everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm actually going to be doing a May writing update. So if you were following my blog for like the last 3 years, you would know that I used to actually do monthly writing updates on my blog. It just kind of got really repetitive for me, so I actually stopped doing them. And on my blog right now, my writing updates consist mostly of chapter updates and like short story updates. But because of that, that also means that I've stopped sharing smaller projects that don't have as much of an arc. So I thought I would log on and talk about them here. So May was actually a really good month for writing. Funny enough, it was actually my writing hiatus month. I was not supposed to be writing, really. I know I wanted to start the new novel in May, so like May and April have been my writing hiatus. So for a time where I was supposed to not really be writing, I did quite a bit of writing. So the first thing I want to update you guys on is my poetry. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it that much in this video because I have like an entire vlog dedicated to writing and sort of constructing the poetry book, but I did write a chapbook, so I realized that, wow, I want to write a poetry book, so let me do it. If you follow my videos, you know I'm not a poet. I write mostly prose, lots of fiction. I stan prose. Prose is my thing. But I also have been reading some poetry a little bit, and it's also a medium that I was introduced to in my writing class that I took last semester, which I did some videos, some vlogs through. So I did write a few poems. Other than that, I am not really much of a poetry person. I never wrote poems growing up. It was not really a medium that interested me that much, but I really wanted to write a chapbook. So at the beginning of the month, I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do. So that's how the poetry book came to fruition. Honestly, I was not planning on writing one. I just wanted to do it, and I did it. The entire thing accumulated over about a week. It's comprised of 8 poems. Originally, I was going for 9, but the 9th one wasn't really fitting because I wrote poems 1 to 8 within like 6 days, so they felt like a whole collection, and then trying to come back later, like a week later, to write poetry 9 didn't really feel right, so I just capped it at 8. So this poetry chapbook is not going to be for purchase. It's not going to be published ever. No one's going to read it besides my friends, but I wrote the poems so that I can print them and then give little chapbooks to my friends. I made a mock-up of it. It's in the vlog, which will be up at some point very soon. It's almost done being edited. I don't have it on me. It just kind of looks like, do I have one on me? This is Hereditary Blue by Uba Osman. It kind of looks like this, sort of like with the staples. And it's kind of like a little booklet. I found it. It was inside. I would never have found it. Oh my goodness. So I put it in there for safekeeping. This is it. But yeah, so as you can see, it's like a little pamphlet. The first poem, I wrote them on a chapters receipt. I wrote was Grocery Shopping with Catholic Amnesia. So this is actually in order of how I wrote them. I think I'm going to change the order slightly. I'm probably just going to move the title poem to the end. And the chapbook's title is probably going to be Talk Therapy for Apparitions, because that's like probably my favorite one, and I think it encompasses sort of what I'm trying to say, since the whole chapbook is kind of just talk therapy, kind of, except it's not verbal. So yeah, Grocery Shopping with Catholic Amnesia is basically just me reminiscing about moving. So if you guys don't know, I'm actually moving across the country for university in the summer, so I was angsting about it, and I wrote a poem. And that's what it's about. It's just sort of about my family and things that I want but can't have. It's the most Rachel poem, I think, of all of them. It's like, ugh, of course Rachel would write this. It's so angsty. The next poem I wrote was Arachnophobia When You Like Spiders. This one is just about fears. It was actually based off of an assignment that I had written and never used, like a journal I had done last semester for religion class that I never submitted, so I used it as sort of like a found poem. Then I have Talk Therapy for Apparitions, and that one is me being like, well, if humans need therapy, do ghosts need therapy? The next poem I have is Curing False Memory When You Don't Believe in God, and this one is about my best friend and I, and sort of us in the future growing up. It's like sort of a hypothetical of what would happen if we grew up and went on a beach with each other. Then I have Eating Habits with Dad, and this one is like a really pure poem. So it's just sort of talking about my relationship with food and sort of interconnecting that with my dad and I. Then I have A Half a Cup, which is about my grandma, and like she's getting older, so I've been angsting. I was just more sort of trying to concretize these emotions that I've been having lately. Like every single one of them are things that I've been meaning to sort of express but haven't been able to, and it was really nice to get them on paper. I talk about this in the vlog, but I honestly don't really write about myself. I don't write about anything that's remotely similar to me. I don't write with characters who are similar to me. I don't write in Canada. Like, I'm from Canada. I've never written anything in Canada. Can you believe that? Like, I've lived here I was born here, and I have never set any of the 9 books I've written in Canada. Nothing. I don't even mention Canada. To write something that was all about me was really weird. Then I have Laundry When You Are an Inadequate Adult, and this is about me, again, moving, because it's been sort of a worry of mine since it was confirmed recently. And it's just about me being like, well, are you really gonna be able to be an adult? It was inspired by something my doctor had said to me in therapy. Then I have Marrying the Ghost in My Basement. That's the last one I wrote. And this one is just sort of like a short listing of things. Like, I think it opens something like, if you like ghosts so much, why don't you marry one? Something like that. And it sort of follows that pattern about things I should do that I haven't done. It was very fun to experiment with a new medium, and I have also gotten some really good feedback from a few friends who I've sent a few of the poems to, and they seem to really like them. So that makes me happy. I'm just excited to print them out and have sort of like a product like this that I can just be like, yo, I created that in May of 2019. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is my fanfic. So I mentioned this in, I think, my last vlog. So it's not actually fanfic. It's more of like a alternate story in the Fostered universe. So if you guys don't know anything about Fostered, I'll link the Talking About All My Books video because I think that's the most helpful place to start. There are actually timestamps in the description, so you can skip around. But the fanfic that I'm working on is what I'm tentatively titling Boys on a Boat. It's not actually called that. It's not going to be called that. It's just the title because I don't have anything else right now, and that's sort of what I'm referring to it as. But Boys on a Boat is a project I've been working on for a few months, actually. I think I wrote the beginning of it when there was still a lot of snow on the ground, probably in January. And I recently picked it back up again during my hiatus so I could have something to write because I didn't want to forget how to complete sentences. So that was where I started to practice writing again. The story follows Lonan and Harrison, who I think I'm gonna do at one point. When the summer comes, you guys are gonna get content, but I'm gonna do an intro to all of my characters for Fostered video because I talk about them so much, and I feel like it'll be the most helpful for you guys to have a video to refer to. But Harrison and Lonan are my 2 favorite characters ever, probably, but it is sort of following them. I wrote it in 3rd person, so 3rd person limited in Harrison's head most of the time. I do some head hopping because I can. And it's sort of following him and Lonan as they are at Lonan's father's cabin, and they find a photograph of a woman in his dad's dark room, and they decide to follow it and try to find out who this person is. Now, is that going to be the plot? I don't know, because I still haven't gotten to that point, and I'm 6,500 words into the story, so I don't know. That's what I'm tentatively saying, but the whole point is that it's just about their relationship and sort of the beginning of the reparation of their relationship, as it has slowly started to fall apart, but this is supposed to start putting it back together, though I'm more and more making it fall apart. So the next thing I have to talk about, I'm very excited about, is short stories. First one I wrote was NYC in Your Apartment, and I'll talk about this briefly because I have an entire blog post about it, but NYC in Your Apartment came about in a really chaotic way. One day I was talking to my friend and I just got this line in my head. You know, it's the first line. It's like, I mentioned it in the vlog. The church something. It's not a church, it's the cathedral, something like that, basically. I can't remember. That was basically what inspired me to gush out this entire short story, and in short, it's basically about this young woman who believes she's making all of these horrible decisions because she is being haunted by a poltergeist. So I don't like the title. I do want to change the title, but I do like the story. I wrote it in 2 days, and it's over 5,000 words long, which is really wild to me, seeming as though that's the longest story I've ever written. The next short story that I want to talk about is fairly new. Is it finished? I don't know. But I gotta talk about it. It's called Growing Season, and it is about... Just you wait until you hear this. If you thought this couldn't get any weirder, the short story is about this woman who tries to replace her boyfriend with a cactus, and it's in the point of view of the cactus. So you is the woman and I is the cactus. I wish I was joking. It's really the weirdest thing I have ever written. Right now it's more flash fiction. It's about 600 words. I don't think I can carry it on for that long because it's so bizarre. I have no idea how to write it. I just had an idea one day for this woman to find a replacement boyfriend in a cactus. And then I just wrote it, and it's very weird. That's basically all there is. It's literally this woman buying a cactus and then making it her new boyfriend because her boyfriend is inadequate. So that's what's up with me in writing. So another exciting thing about the short stories, Sarah and I, and if you don't know who Sarah is, she's been in a couple of my videos. She's my twin sister, and we are actually going to be printing a short story collection for the teachers at our high school. So we are graduating this year. Oh boy. So a lot of the teachers at our school have been incredibly supportive since the beginning of time of our writing, and we just wanted to sort of give back. And so we're going to order some physical copies. It's not going to be published, so you can't buy it anywhere. It's going to be completely unpublished. It'll just be strictly personal. So Sarah is working on one right now, and I have a few of them. So hopefully it can get to around maybe 20 to 50 pages, hopefully. But yeah, so the short story collection is very exciting, but I'm sort of working towards that deadline. Right now, I think if I can flesh out Growing Season a little bit more, I'll have a bit more of a cohesive collection, since it is very short, since I don't have many short stories. But I'm very excited regardless to get it printed. I'll definitely get a few for myself and then some other friends as well. So you will 100% see that on this channel at some point. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is actually really weird, because I was on a writing hiatus from this exact thing, and guess what she wrote? So I actually started my novel, and I haven't revealed the title anywhere online, which is wild. I have only mentioned it, I think, to a few friends, and I've mentioned it in my vlog, but this video is going to go up before the vlog, so you guys will hear it here first. My blog doesn't even know about this, so you guys are special. But the new fostered book, so book 7 in the fostered series, is going to be called Houses with Teeth, and I'm actually just basing the book off the title, so I have no idea why I called it that. Your girl has no method to her madness. But yeah, so I actually ended up starting Houses with Teeth at the beginning of May, when I was on a little mini vacation with my family, when I went up to London, Ontario to see Mamma Mia in theater with my mom. So it was wild. I was not expecting it, but it happened, and I'm very excited about the start. I've written about 1.5 pages, I think, of the first scene, and I'll definitely update a little bit more on my blog for like excerpts and so on, so I will also link that post whenever it's down there. It probably won't be for a while, but it'll be down there at some point, so you can keep checking back. Houses with Teeth started off the way I wanted it to, which was weird. The opening scene I knew was going to be, like, I've always knew what the opening scene was. It was Reeve in her kitchen, and she gets a phone call from Lonan, her brother. And she's been estranged from her family and her friends for like the last 8 months, almost a full year of being estranged from her family. When they finally find her, and by they I mean Lonan, when Lonan finally finds her in New York City, over the phone, she's like, nah, this is my life. You can't come ruining my new life. It's very interesting. So I like the beginning quite a bit, and I wrote a lot of it when I was doing some writing sprints with Sarah, Soto, and Shaylin, so that was really exciting. Like, I wrote the part that was giving me the hardest time during a writing sprint, so now I can just move on, which is great. But I do have a plan for basically most of chapter 1. I have like a big note that I'd written a few months ago. My hope with this book is that it's quality enough to publish. I'm not actually going to publish it. It's not in my plans whatsoever to publish Houses with Teeth. I just want it to be sort of my tester novel into pushing me into writing more serious things. I'm going to university for writing, and while I think personal projects are incredibly helpful, I also want to learn how to structure a novel actually, because I have not done that. I've written 9 of them and none of them have structure. So at this point I want to learn a little bit more, even if it's not fully, because this is still personal. I do want to learn a little bit more how to properly structure a novel. That is all the writing happenings that have been happening. Let me know down below what you guys have been up to with writing, and if you like more of these writing update videos. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Saint Christopher, to find your sister. She ran out.